I have a moment to play for you from Fox News where Fox host Martha MacCallum has on Trump legal spokeswoman and lawyer sort of Alina Habba and asks what is supposed to be, based on the tone of Martha MacCallum's voice, sort of the left is saying this crazy stuff. That's not true, right? And then Alina Habba gives the most bonkers answer, and you'll notice it sort of stuns Martha MacCallum. Take a look.
Is there any effort on the part of your team to secure this money through another country, Saudi Arabia or Russia, as Joy Behar seems to think?
Well, there's rules and regulations that are public. I can't speak about strategy that require certain things, and we have to follow those rules. Like I said, this is manifest injustice. It is impossible. It's an impossibility. I believe they knew that. I think that's why mid-trial, frankly, they changed their ask from $250 million to the ridiculous amount of money that they've asked for. I think everything is done intentionally. I do not doubt that the witch hunt, that the election interference goal is what was ringing steady and loudly and true throughout all these trials, frankly. And we're seeing it. It's the demise of our country, not the demise of Trump. So we'll handle it as we always have and keep our heads up and keep working hard.
So you'll notice she very notably did not say no to that question. I want to bring in our legal expert, Aaron Parnes. What do you make of that rather strange moment, Aaron?
It's funny. This is a critical example of when you're kind of playing softball with two hats on. So on one end, Alina Habba is Trump's kind of campaign spokeswoman, and then on the other end, she's also his attorney. So from a legal perspective, her answer doesn't really shock me because she's just trying to protect privilege and just trying to protect any possible conversations she may have had with Trump or other attorneys on this team. But from a campaign perspective, the answer is just awful. I mean, it's supposed to be a softball question. It's supposed to be one where Alina Habba could easily say, absolutely not. We're not getting any money from Russia, Saudi Arabia, or any other foreign government or foreign entity to satisfy this bond. But at the same time, you never know. It would not shock me if at least one of Trump or his attorneys looked into possibly getting a bond backed by a Saudi bank, for example, or for another foreign bank. We've seen Trump actually obtain loans from foreign banks in the past in his business dealings. So it truly would not shock me if that were the case here. It's not going to happen from Russia. All of that money is likely sanctioned, so that would not work. But this was supposed to be a softball question that she could easily just dispose of. And clearly she didn't. So it's very interesting to see what their strategy is, whether on the campaign side or on the legal side.
Absolutely. And to me, it does once again highlight the desperation right now that's even in the conversation. And within the context of that, remind everyone sort of where things stand. We're keeping up with the fact that Trump unable to pay this massive judgment. And what does the timeline look like? How are things going to proceed from here?
Yeah, so right now, March 25th is the key day. That's the day that Donald Trump either has to post a bond, which is going to be over $450 million with the court to be able to appeal the civil fraud judgment, or B, he's going to have to pay up. So March 25th is the key day. And if he does not pay up by March 25th, then what you're going to see happen is you're going to see the New York Attorney General start moving to place liens on Trump properties, both in Manhattan, but also in neighboring counties and across the country. We already saw, according to a new report from Bloomberg, actually, that Letitia James has filed the judgment or recorded the judgment in Westchester County, which is adjacent to New York City. And in Westchester County, Trump currently owns a golf course and then another piece of property totaling worth, I believe, upwards of $10 to $20 million. You could likely see her place a lien on that March 26th to try to seize that property. Remember, she won't have to record the judgment in Manhattan to start placing liens on Trump Tower, for example, because that's located in the county in which the judgment was entered. So that's the next step. March 25th, we have to see whether or not he is able to post a bond or pay up.
So it's getting very real very fast. I think I had a really hard time imagining this actually playing out, properties actually being seized, but this is the real deal for sure. So remind us why it is that, as I said, getting money from foreign countries would even be in the question.
Well, because we saw Donald Trump's own team filed with the New York appellate courts in a desperate move, kind of essentially begging to stay enforcement of the judgment. They've reached out to 30 third-party bond companies, and all 30 of them have said no. The judgment is simply too large for these insurance companies to put up a $450 million bond for Trump, because the collateral that they would receive isn't secure enough or just doesn't work for them. And they've reached out to 30 companies already, all of whom have said no. So that's why I said earlier, it wouldn't surprise me if they even try to reach out to a foreign bank to help with this, to put up the bond. But that raises a whole host of potential conflict issues or ethical issues, given that Trump is also running for president right now. So it's a big mess for Trump and his team, and I'm sure they're panicking.
And let's all just be clear that if he did fall through with that, just taking money from foreign countries, something that they're accusing Joe Biden of doing without evidence and saying that's why he's so corrupt, again, even though they can't actually prove those allegations. And Trump, while he was president, did receive millions through his businesses from foreign government specifically, and Republicans don't care. So there's that blatant hypocrisy once again rearing its ugly, ugly head.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that regarding these ethical issues, I mean, Donald Trump is running for president right now. And if he, were elected president in a hypothetical world and he had a bond posted by a Saudi-backed bank, it then raises the question of, okay, well, if that Saudi bank has connections to the Saudi royal family and the Saudi government, can they peddle influence for Trump while he's in the White House? We saw these same questions raised regarding the emoluments clause here in the United States when foreign nationals stayed at Trump properties, earning Trump businesses money while Trump was in office. We also saw potential foreign influence peddling after Trump, when Jared Kushner received a $2 billion deal from Saudis. So this raises a whole host of questions, and it's honestly not something that an American president or an American presidential candidate should have to deal with. We should not have candidates like Trump who are running with all these conflict of issues and also just all these legal liabilities. And we see that in Trump's campaign filings. We see Trump is lagging behind Joe Biden by more than double in terms of cash on hand money, just because he's paying legal fees. He's using campaign funds to pay for personal legal fees. And it's not working. This isn't how democracy is supposed to run, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I do just want to also emphasize that the priorities between Joe Biden and his campaign and Trump and his campaign could not be more different. The contrast there is remarkable. Clearly what's going on here is Trump is running a campaign centered around him. He's trying to get into the White House so he can be protected, at least he thinks that it will be, from all of these legal troubles, and a campaign of retribution. Then on the other side, you have someone actually running a campaign like we'd want our elected leaders and aspiring elected leaders to run, which is about issues, about policies, about improving communities. And it's crazy to me that so many people are throwing their money at Trump's campaign. I would hope some of them or most of them know that a bunch of this money is going toward his own attempt to climb out of the horrible situation he's in legally, and it's not at all about their well-being. But still, they chuck money at him.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think that raises a key point too, Luke, is that if Trump becomes president, right, he can theoretically, yes, he can pardon himself in the January 6th indictment and in the South Florida indictment. Those will go away. He will not have the ability to pardon himself in the Georgia January 6th case or the New York Stormy Daniels hush money case. He will also not be able to just simply get rid of these judgments. The judgments will continue to be there because they're state court judgments, they're civil judgments. And even the E. Jean Carroll federal civil judgment, he can't pardon himself in a civil judgment. That's not how it works. He can't just absolve himself of these responsibilities, of these liabilities. So you could have a situation where you have a president who owes hundreds of millions of dollars, that's only compounding, that is facing criminal charges or has already been convicted. Is that really in the best interest of America? I don't think so, and I don't think voters will agree.
I hope so. Where can people find you, Aaron?
On all my social platforms, just at Aaron Parnas.
And make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Plus, you can become a member at lukebeasleyshow.com/membership to get the daily bonus show.